Welcome to Business Line's State of the Economy podcast, where you'll find insight, analysis, and the story behind the numbers.
Hello, and welcome to Business Line's State of the Economy podcast. I'm your host, Sanjana B, the publication's tech reporter. In today's episode, we will be discussing the proliferation of generative AI and how large tech enterprises are keeping up with this rising demand. Today, I am joined by Padmashree Shagrithaya, Executive Vice President and Head, Insights and Data Global Business Line, Capgemini India, and Sudhir Chaturvedi, President and Executive Board Member at LTIMindtree, who will offer more insights into the topic. I welcome you both. Perhaps you could start us off with how your respective enterprises are integrating generative AI into your systems.
I think for us, Sanjana, we're actually being led by where our clients are seeing the biggest benefits of generative AI. In fact, for us, it's an overall AI umbrella. Clients are looking for 4 areas. Firstly, they're looking for enhanced revenue generation, either from current sources of revenue or new business models. The other area they're looking at is cost efficiencies and productivity increase. The third area that they're looking at is to drive innovation and new product development, which we see in life sciences and others. And the fourth area is the entire area of experience, whether it's customer experience, employee experience, how they can improve the experience of all their stakeholders. The majority of our investments are going in these 4 areas, and to make sure that we build the AI foundation that is needed, which is needed across cloud, data, application assets, infrastructure assets, in order for clients to be able to deliver those benefits at scale for their customers in turn.
So at Capgemini, we've been working on Gen AI for the past 3 to 4 years now. Solving the client's business-specific needs, particularly in sectors like consumer goods, retail, financial services, and even life sciences. We've done a lot of work in the past already. Now, broadly, very similar to what Sudhir was talking about, right? There are 4 buckets, and a good part of the work in the past has been in the space of content personalization at scale, customer experience, right? Knowledge management to a large extent, all in the productivity side of the game, software development assistance. All of these spaces have been buzzing in the past. Now, whilst all this is happening, right, what is really this Gen AI frenzy, if I can call it, the new wave, right, has led to is clients wanting to reinvent themselves, also investing in large-scale digital transformation and large-scale data projects, right? These are not necessarily stemming from Gen AI directly, but the need for them to move in that direction also is kind of foundationally embedded on the need for them to be more, digitally, as you can imagine, right? So all of now all of what we have as data is not already digitized, right? So therefore, the whole thing on large-scale digital transformation and large-scale data projects are some things that we are seeing in the market. So that's how I will put it, Sanjana.
Generative AI seems to fundamentally disrupt business models that IT service companies in India traditionally used to. So I think there's a rising demand for generative AI across companies. So how do you think that India will be impacted by this demand?
See, I would rather say Gen AI is going to hugely transform the business models. It will definitely bring in more operational efficiency. It will also bring in service innovation and differentiation, workforce transformation. And most importantly, there will be new revenue streams, right? We believe that AI, generative AI is not intelligent in itself, right? It mimics intelligence at best. The intelligence stems from human experts, which these tools will kind of assist, augment, right? Assist in the form of, coding assistance, for instance, or augment in the form of developing new molecules in the life sciences spaces. The key to success, as with any AI, are the safeguards that human builds around them and to guarantee the quality of its output. The content generated by the generative AI itself, right, has to be reviewed, has to be fine-tuned. It has to be an iterative process. Now, this frenzy, Gen AI frenzy, as mentioned earlier, right, is going to be leading to a large-scale digital transformation, large-scale data projects, so on and so forth. Now, these cannot be carried out autonomously by AI. We need people and human intelligence to design, lead, validate, verify, and build.
Yeah. So I think, in a recent EY poll or research paper, they said that Gen AI has the potential to add around $400 billion to India's GDP by 2030 itself. And a lot of this addition will come from the tech sector. So many firms like ours, like LTIMindtree, are proactively investing huge amounts of money in three areas. We are building platforms. Like for us, we built this Canvas AI platform to help clients adopt AI. We're also reskilling. Our entire workforce of 82,000 people are undergoing training in AI trends. And the third area that we're looking at is to say how we can actually, look at essentially leading this sector. See, the Indian IT industry has proven to be highly adaptable. We've adapted. I've been in this industry from the time of Y2K, and every technology shift, raises questions about how we will compete in this industry. But what we find as history has taught us that Indian IT does extremely well from technology shifts, and Gen AI. AI in general is a massive technology shift. I would say after the internet, that is the biggest technology shift that we are seeing. So I think it is a great opportunity for us to even lead the innovation cycle when it comes to AI. And I think from a sectoral perspective, it's financial services that is perhaps leading the space right now, banking and insurance that we see. We are doing quite a bit of work with retail, consumer goods, and media companies already. But the high tech sector, the manufacturing sector are also very close behind. So there's no sector that is untouched by this, and which is why we see this across our 140 plus engagements that we're doing right now. That clients are looking to make sure that all their investments, a bit like Padmashree mentioned, whether they're in digital transformation or data or any aspect of their modernization initiatives, are actually geared towards maximizing their return from AI in the future. So that essentially all of that put together puts us in great shape for where that $400 billion addition that we expect to see by 2030.
I think there is a rapid adoption of generative AI across sectors, and so like you mentioned, the BFSI sector in particular, and also healthcare, because of the sheer amount of data that they have to deal with. So, what other sectors do you think will be sort of adopting Gen AI over the years? Padmashree, perhaps you'd like to add something.
I think Sudhir covered a lot of these sectors, right? So maybe it'll be nice for me to just do a double click on some of the use cases in some of these sectors. Stepping back for a moment, right? So I would like to call out some sectors like life sciences, like sectors which has strong focus on engineering, with heavy duty manufacturing, etc., where there is a lot of work yet to be done in terms of digitization, in terms of the large scale data platforms creation, etc., etc. So that of course would happen and get spun off as we move, especially focusing on the Gen AI space itself. The use cases are only multiplying by the day. Some, of course, we all know in the consumer goods industry of enhancing personalization or optimizing the supply chains, which is across industries, not just it's a domain in itself. In the banking side of the game, again, there is a lot of advancements happening. Of course, not to forget the algorithmic trading, which can be hugely enabled through the Gen AI, like the large language models can boost these algorithms quite a bit. Now back to other industries like telecom industry, for instance, Sanjana. You could look at optimizing the network performance across, or enhance the service personalization, predicting customer behavior. There are just so many of these use cases which one can go on and on. And circling back to what Sudhir was saying, it is embedded across all industries, and it is only all set to grow further and further. Sanjana.
Thank you. Sudhir, would you like to add something, or should we move on?
Yeah. No, I think just to maybe perhaps just build with a couple of examples, for example, in the consumer goods industry, we have a client that is a global consumer goods major that has, hundreds of brands working and operates in, 100 plus countries, right? So the pricing that they have for each of these brands in each of these countries has to be competitive and has to be monitored on a regular basis. In fact, in the e-commerce world, in almost, on an hourly basis in some cases if they're doing promotions, etc. And this is in a very highly competitive environment where competitors are also making moves in terms of pricing, etc. So the ability for, essentially for this to be done through current technology or with people with skills currently available is actually quite low. Whereas with AI, generative AI, what we are seeing is that they're able to do this much, much more efficiently. And I think this is an example, I have a similar example in media where clients are looking to see how they can put, media assets, the entire rights management of media assets using generative AI. So what it's doing is this large scale adoption of AI is actually leading to, you know, areas that have never been explored before. Or have been considered impossible before. In BFS specifically, especially in wealth management, the ability to reach each person in a hyper-personalized manner at the n is equal to 1 level, right? Every person gets an experience that is just absolutely unique to them. Has always been tried, has always been attempted, but now is a reality. And this is some of the work that we're doing. So I think that is the most exciting part, that we're able to solve problems in a way that we were not able to solve before.
A lot of companies are, right now, they sort of upskilling their employees to meet the demands that generative AI requires. So have there been any constraints in the availability of talent?
See, we are in an industry where change is constant. I think Sudhir also talked about it a little while back. We have witnessed huge technology innovations, huge transformations that we have seen. Take for example, cloud transformations, right? So this is not new to all of us. And whenever a new technology takes over, there is always an imbalance in the market with respect to the demand and the availability of talent. This is a reality that we all have to necessarily face. So in order to keep up with this technological advancements, right, and meet industry demands, skill enhancements for our workforce is foundational building block, if I may use the word. See, the nice thing about Gen AI is in itself, it has revolutionized upskilling programs by making them more interactive, personalized, accessible, right? We are able to create new personal learning paths for our employees to be able to have sharper learning done in every area that they are seeking to learn and grow. Gamifications, all these are only helping us to be able to upskill our employees or reskill in some cases and be able to make them ready for the new changes that we are talking about at this point in time. At Capgemini, we are also, with respect to Gen AI, we have done a lot of investments thanks to our leadership. Last year, there was an announcement by the group to the tune of like $2 billion, sorry, 2 billion euros over the next 3 years. As we speak, about 100K employees are being trained on generative tools. By mid, we have promised, and they are already up there, right, being trained on these technologies. We have something called Gen AI Campus, which helps in this large-scale platform creation for helping our employees to upskill themselves, right? We also have something called Gen AI Labs, which incubates innovators who in turn can kindle the thought process amongst many of the niche specialists within the organization to be able to take on higher order work with respect to working closely with, model innovators, if I can call them that way, right? So multiple ways in which we build capability within Sanjana to be able to, respond to the market as fast as we can. And as I said, this is not new to all of us. This is our way of life, any which ways.
Just again, building on this, see, the first thing that we see, we believe very, clearly in LTIMindtree is that, all aspects of the work that we do in IT services today will be affected by AI. So hence, it's extremely important for all our associates to be, to have a strong AI foundation. This is, it's going to enhance everyone's skill set and actually enhance the work that all of us together do. So, like Padmashree mentioned, we have our in-house training program where we're looking to train all the employees that we have, all our 82,000 plus employees, because we strongly believe this affects everybody. We're working very strongly with partners here, whether it's Microsoft or AWS or Snowflake. I was recently at the Snowflake Summit, and there's a lot of discussion around how do we scale talent, because data for AI is critical. That's the bedrock for all AI work that clients do. So it's very important for us to build that. In addition to this, we're working with academic institutions, and we're doing work along with our clients as well. So we've made all our training program material available to clients, and we're doing training along with clients and looking at every aspect of the work that we're doing. We are very happy to actually look at the work that we currently do in every part of the system development lifecycle, whether it's development, it's digital transformation, it's data engineering, it's production support, you name it, the whole spectrum of the work that we do, to see what AI intervention can be made. So that things can be done faster, they can be done more productively, they can be done more efficiently. And the last thing I would say is that we're sort of drinking our own champagne here. We've actually incorporated this in every aspect of the work that we do in LTIMindtree. So, for example, our HR work is done through an Ultima chatbot, which is AI-led. A lot of our internal software development and re-engineering efforts, for example, are all done there. And even for the L&T group, we've looked at procurement, we've looked at legal obligation management, several areas. This is a $24 billion group where we're looking to see which are the aspects where we can drive serious business value in terms of reducing cost as well as improving the speed of operations. So this is where we're able to actually make sure that all the training that we're providing, we have real life, opportunities for all our employees to actually, put this into practice along, whether it's internally or with the 140 plus projects that we're currently doing across 140 plus clients that we're already working with on various AI programs.
Could you perhaps elaborate on the kind of investments that are going into developing generative AI models, in Capgemini and in LTIMindtree? Padmashree, you could take the lead.
Sure. Okay, so we have something called a Capgemini Research Institute. All the publications are out there in the net for people to read. A recent one brought out that generative AI is on the boardroom agenda of 96% of the organizations globally. 88% of the business leaders plan to focus on AI, generative AI in the next 12 to 18 months. So we know that this space needs very close attention in order to partner with our clients in their journey of transformation through Gen AI. Now at Capgemini, we have long-standing partnerships like what Sudhir called out, right, with all the hyperscalers. Now, not just the hyperscalers, but across the value chain of Gen AI, if we may call it, right? So be it the hyperscalers, the startup ecosystems, small scale experimentations that are happening. We partner with all of these folks. We invest in some of these good startups as well, like Liquid AI, Blackshark.ai. We have something called Capgemini Venture Fund, through which we do make these investments. And we also start partnering with these ecosystems to be able to take them to market, experiment with them, create new applications of what they are building, so on and so forth. Recently, we also called out on Mistral.ai. Mistral is a French company, again, building large-scale language models. So we were the first ones to partner with them. So where I'm getting to is, we invest in multiple ways, right? Be it investment in startups, partnerships with large-scale hyperscalers, or partnering with niche players in this space. Huh? Now, look at it this way, right? This whole thing has to be constantly assessed, constantly looking at the future of what's going to happen, what is the new that is going to happen in the thing, looking at topics like confidentiality, privacy, multimodal models. Now, all these are done by what I was talking about previously, the generative AI lab that we have. They focus on evolution of the technology itself, in this case, generative AI, researching on all the areas that I was talking about, and testing the technologies to check their readiness and maturity. This is a continuous process that we do along with our clients in the Gen AI lab, uh, and be able to bring out more applications of these models and better methods to create trust in these models. So this is how we kind of play with the entire ecosystem and make multiple investments, not just in the development of capabilities, but also in the space of partnering and building these and fueling these innovations across.
Thank you, Padmashree. Sudhir?
Yeah. So in LTIMindtree, we believe in three things from an investment perspective. First area is AI in everything. We believe, as I've said before, that we can reimagine all the processes and the supporting tech landscape of all our clients with AI. So AI in everything. The second is AI for everyone. We believe that this is truly transformative technology that helps every person, to do their job faster, better, and in a way, reduce some of the sort of the administrative workloads and some of the frustrations that we have with technology today. So AI for everyone. And the third thing is everything for AI. So we believe that all investments that are being made today in platforms across the board are to scale AI and to actually do it with trust. I think one of the issues that we are still seeing is that there are issues related to hallucinations, there are issues related to accuracy. One of the things about generative AI is we keep saying that it's not good at saying I don't know. So Gen AI will produce a response, even if it actually doesn't know something. It'll be a response that you cannot rely on, so which is what we call hallucinations. But I think there are issues related to security, to bias, to various aspects, and that's the other area where our investments are going, so that we make sure that our clients can leverage this technology with full trust in AI. So those are the three tenets that we have established within LTIMindtree, and based on which we're making the investments. I talked about the Canvas platform already, which allows clients to do, essentially adopt AI. It's available on all hyperscaler platforms. The second area is talent. So the platform that we have there is Garuda. Garuda is a platform that's available with all the resources for training. It's available to our clients as well. And the third area is we've got our own data product called Phosphor. And what Phosphor does is that it uses enterprise data in a way combined with Gen AI, so that it provides, from a natural language perspective, an ability for people to, within a company or within an enterprise, to search for information, to get curated information, and most importantly, to get fast and hallucination-free information from within the assets that exist currently within a client's enterprise. So multiple areas of investment, and this is going to continue to be our biggest focus area in terms of how we deliver those three tenets of AI to the clients and to our associates.
Perhaps the both of you can offer insights into, whether Gen AI is just a fad or, because it's a buzzword, it's everywhere. Most enterprises are quickly adopting this, regardless of whether, they actually require it or not. So how do you think, generative AI as a business model is sustainable? Do you think this will, it's a sustainable model that will sort of impact businesses in the long run?
Sanjana, we believe that, and I personally believe, having gone through multiple technology cycles, that this is truly transformative technology. In fact, I think it's the most exciting time to be in technology. As I said before, this, post the internet, I think this is a technology that will change our lives for the good forever. And and the reason for that is the way this technology is already being put to use. In fact, Sam Altman actually said that ChatGPT version 4 is the worst version of ChatGPT you'll see. So it's also at the speed at which this technology is improving, and therefore, and I just the wide range of applicability, right? As we said, across industries, across technology stack, across all. In fact, I was just looking at some of the work that we're doing at the public sector, and there are UN agencies, for example, that are benefiting hugely from the work that we do. And as I said before, it is solving what people considered wicked problems, right? Problems that were not solvable through current technology and current ways of working are solvable today. So we're solving some of the most difficult problems that society faces with these technologies. So I would say that it's great that we have this technology with us. It's about us. It's really up to us to make sure that we use it in the most judicious manner, and we use it to benefit all of humanity, frankly, because that's the kind of potential this technology has.
Thank you, Sudhir. Padmashree?
Yeah, absolutely right. So it is already there. It is no more a hype. It is already adopted. There is widespread adoption across industries. Significant investments are already being done by all organizations. I would say most of the organizations. And it is a testimony in itself, right? So I don't think we need to go ahead and attest whether it is a hype or not. That's my first part. Now, definitely there are ethical implications that this technology is bringing to the table, which needs to be addressed. As Capgemini, we are extremely conscious of this space of, both AI and Gen AI in particular, the kind of, risks, be it functional or ethical, that it brings to the table. And therefore, as a responsible business, we have a governance model to ensure the safe and controlled usage of generative AI. We've developed something called a mandatory group guidelines, especially for AI and Gen AI, that complements our existing policies and guidelines. They enable our teams to get safely involved in Gen AI projects for internal usage as well as for our clients, by assessing, as I said, the functional risks such as trust, correctness, bias, sustainability as well, but also legal ones and ethical ones, like be it privacy, be it data leakage, or intellectual property. All of these are also supported by tools that we've built internally, to kind of be a backbone for this governance model that we've put in place, and to make things easier for all our employees. So long story short, we have a mandatory guidelines towards this, and therefore to ensure that this is sustainable, and this business model is not going to bust too soon, and we ensure that there is a human layer which is wrapped around all these things, to be able to truly deliver the value that this technology is expected to deliver to our clients. Of course, there are other issues of, whether the Gen AI models that we are using in its current form and shape is sustainable to the environment. I don't think we're talking about that, but it is important for all of us to think about it. And we have been continuously, looking at helping our clients to view this aspect of how exactly is it going to lead to their sustainability, promises for themselves and to the world at large, right? So we have created models to showcase to them as to what is the impact that this usage of these models that can have to the environment, and so on and so forth, right? So a lot of work going on that front as well, because in today's world, if we don't think about sustainability, right? Not sustainable models, but sustainability in itself for the environment. All these technologies are questionable in the long run. So therefore, all that what we are doing towards ensuring both addressing the risk side of it and the sustainability side of the games, Sanjana.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Padmashree. Okay, so what kind of tech-related roles will the rapid adoption of generative AI replace in organizations? And do you think that this will restructure the education system as we know it? Uh, Padmashree, would you like to start?
Sure. See, Gen AI is expected to enhance the value of some technology-centered skills, like take examples of data analysis, right? It is also expected to enhance the value of some human-centered skills like critical thinking, creativity, flexibility, so on and so forth. It's going to also decrease the value of some other skills. Now, one of our CRI surveys has also pointed out that 69% of the executives believe generative AI will lead to emergence of new roles. Now, this in today's scenario is a no-brainer. This whole piece of generative AI has led to many new roles that are being formed, carved out in the market. For instance, of course, everybody talks about prompt engineer. I'm not even getting there, but there are other newer roles like AI workflow integrators. I'm specifically focusing on the IT services industry and the examples I'm bringing out are in this space itself. AI behavior specialists. Look at we'll require Gen AI policy advisors. New roles in the space of risks will open up. So there are many new roles that are getting opened up around this new technology, and it will only evolve as we move forward. Yes, Gen AI will demand upskilling and training initiatives, but as I said, it will open up newer roles for our existing employees to have that opportunity to upgrade themselves, to upskill themselves, and also cross-train themselves if that is required. Coming to the second part of your question on the education, I did talk about it a little while back, right? So Gen AI has only helped training or in the larger form of education in a very big way, I would say. It's transforming the industry. It's becoming more personalized today. It's becoming highly engaging. Look at the kids today, right? They're able to go to any of these physics walas of the world and look at very sharp inputs that are necessarily focusing on where they need to focus on and be able to upskill themselves very easily. And gamification has gone and many different examples that I can pull in this space. So net education is transforming, through Gen AI. Students can only reap more and more benefit out of this new technology, I would say. Yeah, so that's all I have to say, Sanjana. Yes.
Thank you, Padmashree. Sudhir?
Yeah. I'll thank you, Sanjana. So for us, when we look at the impact of AI on the workforce, firstly, we believe that it is going to be additive and hugely additive, and for the reasons we mentioned before. Secondly, we believe that every task, so every aspect of, as I mentioned earlier, also the software development lifecycle will be affected. So the best way to look at how AI affects job is to see what percentage of the work that we do currently in a role. So if you're a software developer developing, say, React code, or you're somebody doing production support for mainframe. So you kind of look at the role and the work that is being performed, and then understand how much of that is being impacted by AI. That's the work that we are doing internally right now to assess. We are deconstructing all these jobs into tasks, and we're developing what we call a rubric for task substitution, and then determining which are the areas where AI has the maximum impact. And let me just give you 3 examples in the interest of time. So, for example, in software development, we've got a client in the airline industry which has got assembly code. An assembly code is from the 1950s and 1960s, and reverse engineering this code for a large airline client, is an extremely expensive proposition, right? So today, we're using AI to actually reverse engineer this code and do this work at pretty much half the cost and half the time taken. And that's a good example of how, work that we probably would have done before is now available, but it's available because we're doing re-engineering with AI rather than in previously, which we would do, with conventional tools. Another area, and I think Padmashree also talked about data, where there's been a massive amount of investment, a huge amount of investment, where clients have already moved from data lakes and data warehouses they had to data on cloud, and, with leveraging, their new technology and hyperscalers, sort of investments. But what we're now looking to see is, with AI, how can you use this data to create data products, right? So we've got a financial services client that has actually created, data products which enable them, to look at doing equity research for all equities in a way they were not able to do before, and to do it very rapidly. So as soon as results are announced, they're able to publish a report, like journalists do on the whistle, and these are the kind of things that we feel are additive to jobs, but will also replace some of the work that has been done. So the important thing for us to understand is which job gets impacted by how much through AI, and how do we make sure that we can use AI to enhance the output that we deliver to our clients, both in terms of the quantity of output and the speed of the output that we deliver, and we do it in the most cost-effective manner.
Thank you, Sudhir. Perhaps we could end this conversation with concluding statements from the both of you.
We talked a lot about the use cases. We talked a lot about the potential new opportunities that GenAI can open up in the industries, in our client organizations. But one thing is important for all of us to remember when we are walking this path of GenAI. I would say there are 3 broad concerns that when I speak to my clients, when we speak to our clients as Capgemini, that is on top of their minds. Number 1 is cost. Given everybody within the organization is looking to scale, looking to use these use cases, looking to experiment with new use cases, the amount of spends that the organization will be doing on compute, on usage of these large language models, for instance, needs to be measured, needs to be figured out if it is being spent in the right manner. Right? Even the prompts cost you a lot. So cost is one of the important aspects that one has to have in mind. The second thing that is there in the minds of all our clients are in the form of trust. Now, how do you trust? I think Sudhir also brought out a lot of examples of, be it hallucination, be it biases built in, be it even the cyber security issues around it, right? So one needs to really work towards the trust layer around when somebody is walking the path of GenAI. The third one is scale. Whilst many of our clients are experimenting in the form of POCs, there are only these large organizations who have walked the path of scaling all of these across multiple domains, across geographies within their ecosystem. Now, scaling is going to be not as easy as one thought it would be. Again, because of the multiple layering of GenAI as a intervention, as a technology. So, cost, trust, scale. These are amongst the top issues or worries in the minds of our clients, addressing all the 3 angles.
Sudhir?
Yeah, I think, any new technology leads to, initially leads to some fear, some trepidation as to what the impact of this is likely to be. But I also think that it leads to excitement. And we at LTIMindtree are extremely excited by the prospect of this technology and what it means to two key stakeholders, our clients and our associates. And speaking about on behalf of our associates, I would say even the Indian tech sector at large. I think there could be massive. I think this is an opportunity for us to lead very clearly. Through we've got a fantastic pool of skills already in India. The Indian IT industry has shown extreme agility in terms of adopting new technologies and leading. Now also the ability to lead business transformations through new technology. So I think it is a very exciting time. So my first sort of thing is be excited about this technology and look to learn it and look to adopt it in all its forms. I agree with Padmashree that adoption, large scale adoption is something that clients are doing, but there are concerns around it. Some of the concerns around the technology itself, some of the concerns around the cost. But I believe it is the time to look beyond POCs and to look at large scale adoption. And I want to leave you all with just one example. This is a work that we're doing with an UN agency that manages refugees all over the world. And unfortunately, because of the geopolitics today, there are refugees in various parts of the world. And each refugee location has its own requirements. It has its own rules, its own policies, its own funding, who's allowed to operate, and all of this. And the UN agencies have to at all times conform to all of these, these various rules and regulations and policies that are specific to any refugee camp. Because if they don't, then funding gets withdrawn, they get drawn into controversies, and these are thousands of pages of information that an individual, they've got thousands of employees, have to assimilate and to learn in order for them to do their jobs on a daily basis. We're using Gen AI to help them do this so that they can actually act accurately at all times for all activities that they're doing. And with this, we are actually helping millions of people who are in desperate straits right now actually live a better daily life simply because the UN agency is able to help them specifically without any of the issues that they used to face in the past. And this, again, as I said, this is enabled through technology, through AI, which was not available earlier. And if we can solve for society, as we say in LTIMindtree, in such fundamental ways, I think just think about the potential that this technology has for everybody. And that's what I would say. Be excited by it, jump on board, embrace it wholeheartedly, and go for it.
That was a very astute conversation. Thank you, Sudhir, and thank you, Padmashree, for joining us for today's episode.
Thank you.